that money all day.
Who sings that?
I don't know. We can't talk about it, though, because it's the Patreon, so they're going to think we're talking about them making money off of them.
Is this a Patreon?
Yeah, it's a Patreon. This is a pop culture.
Wow, you guys are so lucky.
Yeah. You get this is behind the scenes.
If only everyone were as lucky as you. And they can be for a simple
For
low,
the small,
low price.
phenomenal fee of $6 million or less a month.
My chair.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah, I broke it so that you sit beneath me.
That's better.
Ooh, beneath me. We are talking. This is the pop culture. Explain everything. Got to say it in the right order. Explain everything. Pop culture. What is it again?
It's Explain Everything Pop Culture. Explaining Pop Culture.
Explaining pop culture. Nailed it. We're eventually going to remember the
Full
title.
name is Explaining Everything Podcast Explaining Pop Culture.
With Neil and Tyler, but Tyler's name comes first because Neil said so. Tyler and Neil.
And Neil's chair is lower.net.
.net.org. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have really, if you're here, we love you also.
You're here on purpose. I guarantee you didn't get here accidentally.
You did not stumble and fall into this pile of poo. Okay. So have you ever fallen into a pile of poo?
I did. It was actually a cow pie.
Yep.
It was a cow patty. And I fell into it and I picked it up and showed it to my parents. And I said, what is this? It's like, Dad, Mom, what is this? They're like, put it down. I'm like, but what is it? Like, put it down. I was doing it. It was like at a farm where it was like where you could go and take your whole family. And they took me and they
found out what cow patties were. We
so that's a cow pie.
When I was in junior high, you know, that's when you had all your nicknames. I lived on like a farm, and then my cousin lived there too, lived like across the like little valley area, and we'd go play out in the cow fields. And there were one time we got mad and we started throwing cow crap at each other.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Now, it's all fun and games till your cousin's running away and you pelt him in the middle of the back with a big old cow turd. Splattered. It was literally like a movie, but instead of blood, it was brown. It was great. It was great. I'm sure he's doing fine now. We haven't seen him since that day. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us. And that's how the coronavirus got started.
The only way that somebody can get me to think about something other than being hit in the small of the back with a cow pie is Joseph Tilley.
It's Joseph Tilley. Wow. I'm glad this is this has a paywall in front of it. Thanks. Sorry, Joseph.
Sorry, Joseph.
He's not paying.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Tyler and Neil Explain Everything podcast. Now officially your fourth favorite podcast. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you go to patreon.com/explain everything to get exclusive episodes. Looks like we made it.
Great. All right, what are we talking about this week? This one I'm actually kind of excited for this one.
Okay.
Because I'm an idiot.
You're not an idiot. That's definitely not the indicator of idiot. You have not dedicated any time of your life into Twilight.
And we're going to find out. What are we talking about?
We're talking about Twilight, the Twilight Saga. Twilight Saga. Sorry.
He did it.
I did it. I thought I was going to forget, but I said it. I made it a joke to Neil and Marco Polo.
Sega.
Say my name. Okay. Heisenberg. Okay. So let me give you some backstory. Can I have some backstory on why I know about Twilight?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so I taught high school math. 2007 is when I started teaching. I used to have duty. That's what they call it, D-U-T-Y. Yes, D-U-T-Y. It's legal. And I had to stand in the hallway as students would walk to the courtyard. That's how words work, Tyler.
Okay.
They had to walk out there, and I would just stand there, literally standing there for like 35 minutes, just chilling on the wall, making sure kids don't like stab each other in the hallway. Well, while I'm teaching, I started seeing this book on like a bunch of the students in my class's desk. It was a black book and it had like this like apple on it. And it was like a hands holding an apple. And I was like, first, a couple times I ignored it, but then I started seeing like several young people reading it. So I asked them like, what is this about? They said it was a book about, vampires. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I read it in that hallway. And so I would read it in that hallway while I was like passing time, just grab it from the library.
Okay.
Started reading it. And now I know about Twilight because I have read the series. What do you know about it?
I don't know about it.
At all?
I've not read any of the books and I've not watched any of the movies.
Okay.
I've seen a few like spoofs of it and I've seen a few clips of it.
Yes.
I actually watched it behind the scenes about how they made people run. Do people run really fast in that movie?
Yes, the vampires are speedy. Now, the graphics for that were absolute garbage in the first movie.
Okay, so you know how they did it?
They sped up the video.
No. They're on a treadmill being pulled behind another vehicle. The treadmill is blue.
So that's why it looks like they're running in place when they're running.
Yes, because they actually are.
Wow. Well, and that was in the second movie on. The first movie, it was like a lower budget, and I think the director had never seen someone run in her life. And so it was literally like they don't move the camera, and then they just sped it up. That's what it looked. That's what it looked like. It was awful.
I have no idea what it is. I did not see the books of Two Hands Holding an Apple. Is that what it is?
I think so. I think that was the first book's graphic.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, take me there.
Take me there. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to be probably taking the majority of this, but that's how this works. We take turns.
I'm going to ask questions.
I want you to.
Because I don't know.
I want to explain everything to you.
Okay. All right.
So the original book, Twilight, was written by Stephanie Meyer in 2005. Now, it didn't. Okay, I will with everything else I'll say today. Okay. So when the movie would have been a real letdown if there had been nothing to go there. So it didn't really start gaining like a ton of traction and popularity until 2008. So those young people in my classes, they were early adopters. And so the book start off, it is pretty good. It's like all from the narrative of this, like, I think she's like 17 when it starts, a 17-year-old girl named Bella Swan. And
is this Kristen
Stewart? Kristen Stewart played her in, Kristen Bell is a different actress.
Okay.
Kristen Stewart, I think.
Okay, got it.
Is that
I don't
right?
know. Yeah.
You know the actresses.
Kristen Bell did the voice of Frozen Girl.
Yes.
Okay.
Also forgetting Sarah Marshall and Veronica Mars.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you watch Veronica Mars?
I have not.
Wow. Neil, what are you doing if you're not
watching
female-led movies and TV shows?
I need to work on this. Okay.
So, that's actually interesting. We're going to talk about that female-led stuff. The reason they did not think these movies were going to do well is because, and I quote, a lot of producers think that these execs think that female-led movies are poison at the box office. And that is a quote. Yes, because they don't do well. They don't think they do well.
Okay.
Now, this one, as we'll find out later, proved them wrong.
Wow.
And it was almost like this was the proof they needed to lead stuff like Black Widow and, any other movie that's led with like a female-driven lead character. This kind of paved the way for them in the modern movie era. Okay. So the story is Bella, she moves from, I think she was like, I don't know, wherever, Florida, North Carolina, whatever. Her mom got married and her parents are split. They're divorced and her mom got remarried. And so she moves to live with her dad for her like 11th to 12th grade years of school. Now, she moves to the town of Forks, Oregon. Okay. The thing about Forks, the reason it's the setting of this, it is the most, that is the city with the most rain in the continental United States. It gets more rain days of the year than any other.
They wanted it to rain there, or that's
what happens in Forks. Now, the reason she chose that as the location for the setting is because Bella falls in love with a vampire named Edward, who they live there because of the amount of darkness, like how many days a year.
So no sunshine.
Exactly, because when they step in the sunshine, they glitter, which is the weirdest pet thing.
But they glitter? I thought they burn up.
No. They glitter in the sunlight. They're more beautiful in the sunlight.
In this book, they glitter.
This is geared towards young girls, so it's like they want them to be more attractive. It's not. It's not good when your main character.
I thought the vampires catch on fire when they're in the sun.
She changed it. Okay. They do. They catch on
glitter.
Pretty fire.
I got it. Well, that's pretty cool.
So they go glittery, so they can't go to school when there's daylight. There you go. So Edward's like 100 years old.
Who's Edward?
Edward is played by Robert Pattinson. He is a vampire, and he lives with a family called the Cullens. Okay. Who are a bunch of vampires that live together.
I like Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson has become, so his biggest first role was he played Cedric in Harry Potter. The Harry Potter series, he played Cedric. He was in one movie. I don't want to spoil it for you. He didn't make it out of that movie, okay? What? Yeah, he did great. But that was Robert Pattinson's first big break. And it was just, he was like attractive, good guy. Everybody loved him. Didn't have a lot of speaking lines, okay? But he's pivotal to Harry's story. Then, from there, Robert Pattinson got this role in Twilight. This is 2008 was when the first movie came out.
Oh, wow.
Yes, 2008.
Okay.
So,
a long time ago.
Yes. The movie, it cost $37 million to make. It grossed $400 million.
What?
Yes. That is a fairly good investment.
Most movies don't do that well.
No, they don't. So if they do, guess what? They split them out and they make a movie for every book, and then they'll make 2 movies for the last book.
Hobbit.
That is exactly. Hobbit made 3. Yeah. I mean, Harry Potter did that for their 7th book. They turned it into 2 movies. Harry Potter did it first, and then everybody else followed. For their last one, they would start splitting them out because you get double double the money. Which, by the way, we'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, they live there, they fall in love, etc. And there you go. Now, another young actor that kind of got his start from this was Taylor Lautner. You know Taylor Lautner?
I do.
Yep.
He was in like a he did like another movie where he was like was he a runner, a jumper,
it was
something?
Yeah, something like that. Like
Okay.
he like got hacked and he's running from stuff like
Okay.
that. He was in a couple other things. Dated Taylor Swift for a hot minute.
Oh, wait a minute. He's in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
yes, he was in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I know that name. I was like, I know that
Yes.
name. My kids used to watch it. Is
Yep.
he Shark Boy?
Yep. He's Shark Boy.
What?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
It's all coming back to me now.
It's all coming back to me now. There's a few things you say I'll have to sing. It's by law.
That's fine.
So anyways, he was in the first one. He played kind of Jacob Black, who is a werewolf, becomes a werewolf in the books. So it's a werewolf vampire
Okay.
thing, but you've got humans mixed in. But it's built around teenage girls, so there's a love triangle.
Is she a vampire or a werewolf?
Well, spoiler alert, guys, Bella becomes a vampire.
No.
Yes.
All right. I didn't know
So
that.
they turn her into a vampire because she wants to spend her life with Edward, and if not, she's going to grow old and die. And there's some other factors that make her have to become a vampire because this like vampire like organization's been around for thousands of years.
Is she getting sick or something?
No, well, yes, she gets pregnant and it was going to kill her.
What?
Yeah, she has a vampire baby and it was going to kill her, so they have to turn her anyways. But then anyway, she was going to have to turn because this vampire, the Volturi, they are this like vampire organization out of Italy.
Okay.
They've been around for thousands of years and they kind of like the police, world police. They're like America, but for vampires.
Okay.
And what they do is they found out that she was human. She knew about the vampires. You have to become a vampire or we're going to kill you because you can't know.
But they're Italian.
They're Italiano. You would know. Now there are like pops of people who become like this was the kickstart. Rami Malek, you know him?
Yeah.
He got to start here.
No
he was one of
way.
the vampires in the last movie.
What?
There's another dude. You've seen him in a ton of stuff. He plays the head Volturi. He's in there. Peter Fasinelli. He was Peter McKinnon. What's up, guys? He's in it. A chick that was on Grey's Anatomy was in it. I'm trying to think. There's other people that have
So they got
bounced
their
out and done
start here in these.
A lot of people got their start in these, and then some people that had careers had kind of wind down. They played parts in the movies.
Wow.
Maggie Grace, remember her from Taken?
Yeah.
She plays a part in one of these.
What?
Yeah, they started
I
at the
did not know
end
that.
in the last movie. They start bringing in all these vampires from around
They
the
could
world.
probably afford it.
And
After they made that much money.
Yeah, they could afford it. We'll talk about that more here.
Okay.
But that's legit. It was made by Summit, which eventually became Lionsgate, and now Lionsgate has. The reason we're talking about this now is because recently Lionsgate has been pushing a lot of their movies to Netflix. Twilight just went to Netflix.
So we could watch this.
Yep, back on July 16th, I think, right around there, they dropped all 5 of the movies were the most watched
There are
things.
5 Twilight movies?
5, because they have.
I thought there were
there's-
3.
There's 4 books. Well, technically 5 books, but 4 books that they made movies for. But then
Okay.
they split the last book into 2 movies.
I did not know this.
So here's the order. Twilight's the first one, and they call it the Twilight Saga. You know, like Fellowship, whatever, all that jazz. It's kind of like similar to other stuff that takes on the name.
Okay.
So Twilight is the first book. Second one is called New Moon. All right, it's where Edward bounces to try to protect Bella, and
Moon because of the werewolves.
Yep, exactly. Everything kind of revolves around that. So you got New Moon. The third one is Eclipse. That's where Edward and Bella, they're moving towards getting married or whatever. Their relationship blossoms.
What?
But other stuff happens. So Eclipse is the third one. And then the fourth one's called Breaking Dawn, and that breaks. And that's where Bella becomes a werewolf.
I've heard of Breaking Dawn.
Really?
That was Breaking Bad.
Yep. Very similar to
way
that.
off. I was way
Very
off.
similar.
Okay. We need to cook.
We need
Jesse.
Cook. We'll make a movie on Netflix about this afterwards. So, anyways, cultural impact. This was huge, and it proved that female centered movies and shows they
So really
can
could
succeed.
do it.
They could be tops at the box office, which they were. They straight up were, and it paved the way for a lot of those movies to get made. So that was a big deal. Also kicked off, Robert Pattinson's amazing career that he's had since then.
Yeah, he's in Tenet, and he's incredible.
And
he's in the new Batman movie.
Remember Me was incredible. He was in a couple others that were just lower. He did a bunch of indie stuff after this because by the second movie, he doesn't like that. He hated Twilight. You could tell.
For real?
You could tell every interview he's in. He's like, I would rather be living in the woods on my own than
What
be
if
doing
Hayden
this.
Christensen had done this?
Then they would only been one movie because he ruins everything. Everything. Kidding.
bad.
Sorry, Hayden, if you're a
So bad.
Patreon. So here's the other thing. You know what else? Cultural impact. Like I said, Netflix dropped it. 5 of the top 10 movies were all these.
Oh my gosh.
Now, 50 Shades of Grey. You've heard of that series,
Yes.
I'm assuming. It was originally Twilight fan fiction that the author turned into a series that didn't have to do with vampires.
What?
Yep. So
did
it was
not know
originally supposed to be it was originally fan fiction around this world, and then the author changed it to make it to where it was just normal humans.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they made a lot of money with that too. So, and that was off of this as well. Now, there was another book that she wrote in this world. It's called Midnight Sun. It is essentially Twilight. It's the first book, but instead of everything being from Bella's perspective, it's from Edward's perspective, which is really, I read she released the first couple chapters leaked online back in 2012, and it ticked her off because she was still writing it. So she didn't release it for 8 years. It just released in 2020. She got ticked, but it was actually really good.
A lot.
Because you're reading these books from the mind of this like 17, 18-year-old girl. And so it's got like her mindset, what she thinks and cares about.
Yeah.
Edward, he, like some vampires get like special abilities. He can read minds. And so it's really cool watching it from his perspective as someone who's lived.
You get everything he's
lived for 100 years. He's like super cultured, like he's a good dude. Like it's really cool seeing everything from his perspective and then reading people's minds. So it was really cool.
I literally had no idea.
I read it in line waiting to vote in the 2012 election. Fun fact about me.
Really? You read the entire, how long was that
no,
line?
I read the first couple chapters.
Okay,
the parts that
you read
leaked.
the entire book waiting in line.
No, it wasn't really. I had to wait in line for like 2.5 hours. So,
man,
there you go, America. I care about you.
Very fast.
There you go. So let's talk about the movies.
I care about you.
I care about you, America. Let's talk about the movies with regards to how they did with their releases, because this is a big deal in culture. We talk about Marvel. I've got some stuff in here that's gonna kind of be
Marvel's
crazy.
kind of big.
Kind of big. Watch this if you want to know how big Twilight was.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so the movies went from 2008 to 2012. They released 5 movies, okay?
In 4 years?
Yes. They cranked them out before the stars got sick of it, okay? They were trying to capitalize on the attention. So Twilight, and the books are still coming out during all this stuff too. It's like Breaking Dawn.
The books weren't out yet.
Not all of them. Some of them are popping out and like they're coming out and she's like working with the people on the film as they're doing it. So first Twilight movie, Rotten Tomatoes, 49%, grossed $400 million on a $37 million budget.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. New Moon, the second one, 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, set the record for advanced ticket sales for a movie.
Wait a minute.
Also, I think it broke Friday opening day records for a movie.
28%, but
on Rotten
killed it at the box office.
Yes. It made more. The second movie that I just said was a 28%, made more than Star Trek and Wolverine combined.
That's insane.
They came out that year. Made more than
those
both
are
of those.
Major tentpole franchise films,
and it made more than both combined. And it's commonly referred to as the worst one.
You got to know your audience, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the reason is because Edward's not in it very much, and so people don't like it because it's mostly Jacob. And so
Jacob is Taylor
Lautner. He's the werewolf. Okay. So third one is yes, but he only when he's a dog. He's a doggy. He turns into a doggy. And the dogs, and then other people turn into it. It's like this Native American group that they turn into these dogs to protect their area when there's more vampires coming in. And so as more vampire action was happening in that area, more of them kept turning.
Are they at war with each other? Vampires and werewolves.
They do. They are natural enemies. However, those two made a pact where they wouldn't, if they like didn't cross over into their land or whatever. And the Cullens are cool with them because the Cullens don't eat people. They eat deer. They're what they call vegetarians.
But they eat deer.
They eat deer. Well, they're vegetarian vampires, so they don't eat people. So that's the joke. It's so funny.
I had no idea. Okay,
I know.
This is real. This is like legit.
It's a world, and she plans on writing 2 more books in the future.
I did not real. Okay, all right.
So I mean, it's like any of these, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all these things, are these worlds that they create. That have these set of rules and things. So the third one, Eclipse, earned more than Iron Man 2, which was released that year.
That has Sam Rockwell in it.
I know. And he dances.
That's a good movie. Oh, yeah.
He always dances. I think it's in his contract.
Dancing.
So good. Okay, so Eclipse earned more than Iron Man 2. Breaking Dawn, Part 1. So this is the 4th book, the last book, but it's split into 2 movies. Breaking Dawn Part 1 is a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So low.
It earned more money than 2 movies that came out that year. X-Men First Class and Captain America combined. It made more than both.
Good Lord. 25% is low. Is that the lowest out of all the movies?
Yes, on Rotten Tomatoes. But it made more than Captain America and X-Men First Class combined.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
And then Part 2 came out. It's a 49%, made $830 million.
Okay, is that because it was the last one? It's like the end game of the Twilight series.
Exactly. It was the end of it. It was the culmination of all of this.
Oh my Lord.
So
billion, 3.346 billion.
No, Yeah, it made total all 5 movies.
Oh, all of them.
All 5.
All
the
of them.
The last one almost made $1 billion, but all 5 combined made $3.3 billion.
Insane. So these actors probably not only did it start their career, but they probably did. I mean, I'm hoping they
did
negotiated
fine.
this.
I hope so near the end, unless they did the contract for all of it combined. But that's the thing, a lot of these things try to get people in as producers.
Yep,
but again, these actors, like it's weird because like their 2 main actors, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart, they're pretty private people. They don't like to be in the limelight. And so like they were literally thrust. And like your audience here are like teenage girls.
Oh, they're fangirls.
They were huge in the headlines, like the Brangelina stuff. They were huge in the headlines because they dated in real life.
What?
And then I think I want to say she cheated on him during the set of like some movie. I want to say it was with a Hemsworth. I'll have to look. I don't remember.
So this is very similar. So the whole thing about Tom Holland and Zendaya are like possibly dating. That does a lot for a movie because people want them to be together.
It's free
Do you
marketing.
think it's real?
It's free marketing. Also, they're talking about your movie and you don't have to pay one magazine. And there are articles online, articles online, all that stuff. Okay. They were released to come out against the Harry Potter movie and the Harry Potter pushed it. And that was in the last one, the one that made the money.
Harry Potter pushed their movie because of it.
No. Harry Potter pushed because of production stuff. But that opened the door for them to be the biggest movie of the year. They came out, the last one came out the same year as The Dark Knight with Christopher Nolan, Dark Knight. Now, here's the deal. Those 2 movies, when those came out, how much money they made, the impact they had, that's when people started having this conversation of how does this impact culture? Like how are these movies shaping our culture? And that's where they started having that conversation. We talk about cultural impact. It made a huge cultural impact out there. Okay, Neil? So we have 2 sessions. We usually do this on our main podcast, but I wanted to throw them in here. Wow. I want you to Google Twilight cast and then go to Google Images. We're going to do 3v3 where I'm going to pick 3 people and you're going to pick 3 people. We'll do a draft.
I don't know who these people are.
But you're going to do it based on the picture. So you're just going to find a picture, point at somebody, and then I'll tell you who would have won if we'd have battled.
Welcome to the party, pal. This is 3v3.
So I'll go first. My first choice is going to be Dakota Fanning. You know Dakota Fanning? You know that is the actress?
Yeah.
She plays a vampire with special powers. She can look at somebody and just cause them immense pain. It's like Crucio in the Harry Potter series. It causes them immense pain. They can't do anything. Okay. So if we're battling, I'm choosing her first.
Okay.
Okay. You point to somebody and
I'm going to pick this guy. I don't know who he is.
Okay. That actor, his name is Jackson Rathbone, I think is his name.
Let's see here.
No, maybe he's Jackson in the series.
I don't know who he is. He's very white.
Yeah. Anyways, he may be the worst actor in the entire series.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Dude, you should watch the memes these TikTokers have made of him.
They don't like him. I picked the wrong one.
It's just because his face, his acting, his accent, he's supposed to be a Southern gentleman, but it fluctuates. And
so he's not a great actor.
He might be, but this role was very difficult for him to play because he doesn't have a lot of lines. It's
really hard to play.
He's just supposed to stand there and he does this like diagonal smile. Hey, little lady.
Hi, y'all.
So terrible.
My skin is, what did you say, sparkly?
Sparkly. Well, it's sparkly in the sun. Here's the deal too. They started doing in the first movie, like I told you, the production was not great. It was like they poured baby powder on their face to make them look.
God.
By the last movie, they look normal. Like it's like they stopped doing that and they started just making them look like themselves.
Oh,
like that's how he looks in the first one. That's how he looks.
Oh, wow. Yeah. He's very, very white. Yeah. He looks like he has powder on his face.
Yes. So Jackson's actually a good fighter. So you made a good choice. Good job. Good job. Okay.
I don't know who I just picked here.
Okay. My next choice, I'm probably going to go with Alice Cullen because she can see the future. And so I know your moves.
Who's Alice? Oh, you know what I'm going to do before I actually do it.
Yes, she can see the future. She's actually, I talked about the Volturi, because you're never going to watch this. The Volturi, that like world police, the reason the Cullens didn't deserve for them to fight them. The reason they came and actually wanted to start fighting them is because they wanted Alice to join them. They wanted,
because of her superpowers?
Yes, they collect people with great powers to protect them. So like
the Infinity Stones, but with people.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. They pull in these and they wanted her to be able to see their future so that she could always protect them.
Kind of like the draft, the NBA draft.
It's exactly like the NBA draft. By the way, a guy from Arkansas went to the Warriors.
Wow.
That's what's up. Yeah, so I'm looking to get a call any day now.
Any minute
of my connection.
Now. Okay. All right, I picked this guy. I don't know who he is. He looks like one of the Corey Feldman, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so you picked the Carlisle. Cullen.
Okay.
He has been a vampire for, I don't know, 400 to 700 years.
His head is not attached to his body.
Correct.
Somebody
Okay.
is holding his head.
They're holding that's the Volturi. They ripped his head.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Well, here's the deal. Okay, so I got two things. First, I'm gonna tell you who he is. Sorry, guys, I'm here for this. I apologize.
Oh, Carlisle. Yeah, I see other
Carlisle.
pictures.
That's
It
Peter.
says Carlisle Cullen is trash.
Yes.
Okay.
He is. Here's the deal. He is a doctor. Once he became a vampire, he I think started out doing vampire things, and then he dedicated his life to saving
started
humans'
out
lives
doing
instead of taking them.
vampire things.
He's trying to make up for it. And so he leads their little group. Now, here's the deal. He also, that actor, Peter Facinelli or whatever his name is, he was in the greatest high school movie ever made, Can't Hardly Wait. You ever seen it?
I have not.
Oh, it's incredible. Oh, man.
Can't hardly wait.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen
It's
it.
so good. Okay. Anyways, so he is, let me tell you that scene. He had his head ripped off.
Yeah.
So, guys, spoiler alert. In the last movie, there's this huge fight scene. It never happened.
What? Is it like a dream?
It was a vision from Alice that the leader of the Volturi, who was about to kill all of them, she showed him the future, but you don't know that when you're reading or when you're watching. You think it's all.
You think it's actually happening.
Main characters are dying. Carlisle gets his head ripped off. People are dying in it, and then they win. But the Volturi see that they die in the battle, and so they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to start a fight." So they literally leave.
So they back off. So they change the future.
They change it because of this. Now, here's the deal, and they're like, "Oh, they might come back eventually." This is the only series where the author did not have the courage to actually finish the series. She literally, it ends with, this is the battle we would have had, but instead everybody's going to go home. It's like Harry Potter, there's a huge battle at the end. The bad guy loses. I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
What?
So in all these movies, in the Lord of the Rings, there's a battle. There's winners and losers. The thing that bothered me so much, Hunger Games, there's a battle. There's winners and losers. She would not do the battle with the bad guys and the good guys. It's literally like, I didn't want.
Why? Because she was trying to make the fans happy?
Because she didn't want to kill off her characters. She had gotten connected to them, and she knew that for it to be legit, her characters, because she doesn't kill any main characters.
Does she know they're not real?
I don't think so.
She thinks they're real.
But also, she gets to choose because she's the author. And so, anyway, he didn't even die. That's a fake death. Okay, sorry. All right, my third one is going to be Edward because he can read minds. So he's going to be able to stand literally next to Dakota Fanning and be like, look over there, because he can read who's going to attack. She can turn, cause him pain.
Can I pick actual Dakota Fanning?
Yes, actual Dakota Fanning. What was she in that was her big break? There was something huge she was in. She was a kid.
She's in an M. Night Shyamalan movie, isn't she?
Was it? Not the I See Dead People. That's the other kid.
She's definitely in a movie.
Was she? She's in a movie.
Ooh, that was one of the best movies.
Man on Fire.
Man on Fire is incredible.
That was
War of the
so
Worlds.
good.
That makes sense.
What was she in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Oh, she was I think she was one of the kids at the camp at the place that he went. War of the Worlds. Yeah, there was a span where she was in everything, and she's in there, and she's like one of the most feared people in the whole show.
Well, I don't know who this person is, but I picked him.
What's the actor? You've seen him and stuff. I don't know that.
Oh yeah,
name.
he's Michael Sheen.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of
He's
stuff.
Martin Sheen's brother.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah, he's a good actor. He is the leader of the Volturi. So he's essentially viewed as like one of the most powerful vampires in the world.
So did I pick a good guy?
Picked a good one.
His eyes are red.
He would probably, there's a good chance he would
doesn't look trustworthy.
His special power, well, he's not. His special power is when he touches people, he can see their entire history. Everything they've ever experienced and seen, he can see and
Can he rip
experience.
their heads off?
Oh, yeah, he's the one holding Carlisle's head.
Oh, it's for real?
Yeah, that was him.
See, I literally put this together. I didn't even know.
Carlisle gets mad, goes to try to save Alice. He jumps in the air, falls to the ground. He's holding his head. And that's what starts the fake battle. Was him ripping Carlisle's head. It's not a real battle. Man. Yeah, there you go. You guys just got a real quick look. I think this is the most important thing we do is the last section.
It is.
Will it rock?
By far, this is important.
How would this look if The Rock was involved?
Well, what if The Rock had written it? He probably would have picked a real ending.
He probably would have had an actual fight because he would have been like, cool, let them die. They're not real.
Yeah.
So that would have been sick. If he's the writer, love it.
Who would he be? If you're in this and you know the series, who would he be?
I mean, if I'm being legit, he'd probably play Emmett. Emmett is like, you've seen, he played the young Hercules. Do you remember, or was it? No, not young Hercules. Young Conan. Young Conan the Barbarian. That movie that flopped. He was the guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, fun fact, they were at like a after party or release party for this. They would not, he's one of the main people in all the movies. He doesn't have a lot of lines, but he's like, I'm the tough athletic brother, whatever. He was trying to get into this like after party for the movie. The bouncer wouldn't let him in because they didn't recognize him.
No.
And he got ticked and it started like a scuffle and it was like a big thing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
He's the adoptive son of Carlisle and somebody else.
yeah, I don't remember her name.
He's a Cullen, though.
Yeah, they're Cullens.
Are they good guys or bad guys?
Yeah, the good guys. That's Edward's squad. That's Edward's brother. So they're
okay.
good guys.
Oh, he's Ed's brother.
Yeah, Ed's brother, and he's
I'm
strong.
Ed's brother.
I'm Ed's brother. That's pretty much how he's known. He's not the
We're
crummy
friends
actor.
from
He's the
work.
other one. He's the less crummy actor.
Well,
So.
it will rock.
It will rock. He would
Imagine
be great
how
at
much
that.
money he would have made then. He wasn't even
my
in
goodness.
movies back then, was he?
2008, Scorpion King, greatest movie ever made. This was not a funny episode. I'm sorry, guys. I just got real.
I literally don't know anything about this.
Now
So
you know
basically,
everything.
let me see if I get this right. Vampires, they live in Oregon.
Sometimes.
And
They rotate.
Werewolves live in Oregon. And Kristen Stewart moves there because her mom is divorced and somehow gets caught up in high school with the vampires and the werewolves. But if he goes outside, his skin sparkles.
It's like a Hobby Lobby.
Eventually, they have a love affair. Then she becomes a vampire.
They wait
Nope.
till they're married. True
They
love
wait
waits.
till they're married. Okay, true love waits. And then they have a baby, and then they have a huge war, and then the Volturi,
Fake
who
war.
are like the Italian vampire police, come and they kill everybody, but not really.
That's spot on, bro. You're an expert. Look at that. This is
incredible.
This is what Explain Everything's supposed to be. We explained it.
We
now
want to
know.
give you enough information to be dangerous.
Yes. You can be like, oh yeah, Kristen Stewart. I know her. Now you can say that.
Yeah. Man, Dakota Fanning.
She does that in one of the acting. She gets made. There's so many pieces of this series that get made fun of on the internet because of how bad the acting or the writing or whatever it is in it. There's even weirder stuff in this, but I don't want to bring it up on here because it's so weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to.
Okay. The end.
I think it's great.
Thanks, man.
I learned a lot. I don't know a lot, but I learned some.
You know it all. I would say we explained everything.
Know it all, Neil.
Someone say that. Know it all, Neil. Let's call him in junior high school.
Hey guys, thanks for being a part of our Patreon. We really, really appreciate you guys supporting and listening, and we love you.
Not only that, we're in love with you. Thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Explain Everything podcast. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Explain Everything Podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but you're already here. We love you. No, actually, we're in love with you. Thanks for coming on our TED Talk. Bye.